call this meeting of the Santa Claus Water Board to order.
Okay, I'll start out with roll call. Steve Librine is absent. David Maddox.
Here.
Scott Elliott.
Here.
Teresa Hartwig.
Here.
Tony Perkins. Also present, Chris Glenn, and Clerk Treasurer Jane Lindsay, and guest speaker Ed Peters from Midwestern Engineering.
Right. You got all the minutes?
Well, hey, I found out, I read the paper, found out I worked for Patoka, so, you know.
Never know, do you?
Call them up, I think it's back money coming. All right, so, your packet is a little bit in two parts. Minutes should be right on top of one of the parts, so first thing we have is we'll need to approve the minutes from the January 6th meeting. Those were sent to you in advance, and I have reviewed them.
Move to approve the minutes from January 6, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, comments, welcome to the board, Dave, and glad to have you. If you have questions as we go along, don't be afraid to ask. Someone's been at this a while, and we might skip a corner, and you'll go, where'd they go? So, first up will be the operational reports, and you have those, couple of sheets in there. It should be right after that, after your minutes. Yeah, top one is just a month-by-month recap of information. Well, Chris, if there's one good thing, we started out making less water and more revenue than we did last year, because remember, somewhere we gotta find 18 million gallons that we made last year that we don't really know where it went. So, otherwise, I mean, revenue, 132,000 versus 117 last year. And last year we made 544,000 gallons a day. This year was only 500. So, you know, that's all seems to be going in the right direction. Then you have the sheet that says water operational receipts and disbursements. Particularly the one that says 12/31, that is the final one for the month of December. And if you'll notice, it says in the water operational account, we have, keep going, right there. We have $782,768 in the bank. If you look down at the bottom, you notice we still have some transfers that didn't get done in December, so that 782 is actually more like 950. Okay? And those transfers were done on 2/3. So that money is now transferred, and when you see the February report, you will see that money in the February report in the March meeting. So, any questions on that? While we're on that, I didn't really have it, but it's a good place to stick it. Jane, how about, would you feel okay transferring that 250 in March?
Yes.
Okay, so could you do the resolution? You know, we have to do a resolution for that, and we'll just do that in March and transfer that per the budget.
Yep.
250,000 from operational to capital for the budget. And I'll put that on March's agenda. Next up was the GIS system. Chris, your training got canceled, so, but what else?
We got a Zoom meeting with them Thursday, so we can set up the training session, so
Okay.
it's, like, Paul's already using it, so.
Okay.
Like I said,
But you need to have the training in order to get the files,
Well-
his files transferred, start doing the updates and.
sooner or later, I gotta get with you guys, so.
Yeah.
And do that. You have to tell what the wastewater side of it too.
Yeah.
So we've got that switched in there now, so the wastewater guys can start using it, so. Originally just had a water in there, so as utility, before this meeting was scheduled, they got canceled, they had to re-put that in there. So we'd already out using it, so.
Yeah. Big thing will get the files imported and start through the mass of updating from the handwritten notes and stuff.
We got lots of maps,
Lots.
raggedy, written, I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
All right, Mariah Hill. I think first off, we'll get through, there's 3 pay requests, and we'll get through those, first, even though I don't quite have it in that order, we'll get through those first. Ed, Jay said something about you guys want ACHs now.
No, we do not.
SLB does.
The contractor requested that.
Uh-huh.
They sort of demanded it in their email, but I don't feel like they have the right to demand that, so that's up to you guys if you have made ACH payments before, that's how they requested to be paid. But, previously, these checks
Can
were.
you do ACHs for them, or is that something you have set up, or?
I can probably go to the bank and do a wire transfer. I'm not sure what paperwork I need to do on the bank side. I mean, it's something I can look into.
Okay. Well, my thought is now that it's you guys that's gonna be cutting the check and not the county, that I could offer, if they're afraid that it's gonna be lost or stolen,
Right.
they could pick it up here at the town hall. They
Yeah,
have guys on site, you know, a
Yeah,
foreman,
they can always do.
superintendent, so
yeah.
that's what I was planning on offering, unless you wanna, I mean, if you wanna look at.
Because this check, I was kind of thinking we had 17,000, I can tell you.
And
17,000 and something left. Didn't send this to everybody, because just got it, so. Hang on, we'll do it my phone never dies, the world is so quick.
so I guess, are they having problems getting mail or?
I think what happened is that first one was like $500,000 and it took, you know, a month because of the county procedure. So, you know, I don't know, every other contractor's been okay with checks prior, so that's what, you know.
Well, before, I think on this one, I would rather just go ahead and, we're gonna cut the check, if they wanna come pick it up, and then after that, because if we have to start doing that investigation now, and then don't send them money until we complete that, that's just adding time to it.
Yeah, and there's not gonna be that many more on this project either,
No.
you know. they've
Well, we're
already-
done with the count.
Yeah.
We have $17,939.93, and if it was okay with you, I was gonna split part of that 31,000.
Yeah.
They come from the county, we'll pay you the rest if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
And then we'll just pay SLB,
One check.
one check to them.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to do if you mess it up,
Yeah.
you just gotta walk across the street.
If they have, I mean, if you give me a contact number, as soon as we write the check, we'll let them pick it up.
Yeah, I'll do that, and if that doesn't work, then we can talk about it, but.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it to delay it for us to try to get that set up.
Yeah.
Let's cut the check, they'll have to check by the time we figure out how to get it set up for them, so.
Okay. I mean, and we always have their superintendent and their project manager are always down here.
Yeah.
It'll be the 12th this month, you know, they can always pick it up while they're here on the 12th too.
Yeah, maybe just come by before the meeting, and get it. Okay, we have, 3 pay requests, 2 for Midwestern. The first one is in the amount of, and you have copies of these at your place, they're in the stack stuff you've got, for the amount of $339.65. That is the one that ends in -9. The invoice number is -9. We would need a motion to pay that to Midwestern. Part of it will be paid, depleting the county funds, and part of it will be for, from us. Well, do one at a time. And I can see the top of one of them from here.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, yeah, we're dealing with -09 right now.
I'll move to pay this invoice number 2024-08-1000-09, amount of $31,339.65 to Midwestern Engineers.
Any questions on that? All those in favor? Opposed? All right, the next one we have from Midwestern, telling ourselves from the last meeting, we approved the same one twice. So, this one's from the last meeting, the reason it's -08. We just don't know. So this is -08 in the amount of $15,435.35, right? And that is -08, 15,435 pennies.
Move to pay invoice dash oh eight, in the amount of $15,400.35.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, the next one is, so you got the letter from Midwest and then one sheet. This is, SLB's pay request number 3, and it will be for $60,939.01. And this will be 100% paid out of our capital fund.
I'll move to pay SLB's pay request number 3, amount of $60,939.01.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, so the next thing now, we'll go back to, how about a progress update on where they're at on phase 1, as far as laying pipe and doing stuff, and where they at?
Sure, they got all the bores done now,
Did you,
except
Brian?
for, they don't have the one, the last bore there,
Okay.
they're gonna come back and do that at the end, across 700, but, all the bores up till there, they've laid, I think it's around 5,000, 6,000 feet of pipe now, so they're 3/4 of the way through the project. The last quarter always takes the longest, but, they'll have services and that kind of thing after they get the rest of the pipe hooked up and laid. I think they hit a little bit of rock, which slowed them down on the top of the hill on the county road, and they got out of that rock today, so they should start laying a little quicker. But they're working their way down past Kevin Kern's now. They're about to his house, so where Titzer and Kevin live, that's about where they're at. Keith, sorry.
Yeah, because they went down to that one creek crossing and started there, so they're coming down to that board to connect to there.
We need to talk to them too. Talk to them. So that gauge twice tonight.
Pretty good progress. They got slowed down here for 2 weeks because of the snow, but before that, they were well ahead of their schedule. This will set them back a couple weeks, but I still think they're probably a month, 3 weeks to a month ahead of what their schedule was at the start of in beginning of December, so.
Original phase.
Yeah, then move right
Okay. Any questions on that? All right, so then the next thing we have is a, the right one. Yes, it's the right one. It is change order number 1. Should be in that second packet of stuff you got right towards the back. There we go. Looks like this. And I don't have the drawing with me, but it's what I probably do, but it's never funny. This
So
addition goes
about to where that new house is being built.
across the drive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It goes over to Dave Gold's property a little bit.
Yeah, 300 foot or so from that real long drive where they're building a new house there
Yeah.
on the west side of the road.
You know where Danny Oakham lives, and his boys there? Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
so the drive that goes back to their house there, he's building a new house back there. We're gonna cross that drive and go over to that field of boys.
Yeah, kind of in on the top of the hill. There's a house that has a pool. We're not gonna quite get to that next house that's close up on the road. But overall, it's about 1,500 linear feet. It stays under your guys' threshold there where you're allowed to contract with a change order. It's roughly 15%, which gives us a little bit of wiggle room too if some of the other quantities come over. We didn't want to get too close to the 20% threshold, so there'll be a couple tens of thousands left there in case we do have some issues with the current division or current project. But this will present to SLB. They haven't signed it yet, but they have indicated their interest in signing this change order for the contract amounts, which were originally bid.
This is a refresher, the contract, if you were to go back to the original contract, it's, if you're laying 100 foot of pipe, you get X dollars for the pipe and X dollars for laying. So basically what this is just extending that.
Yeah.
Adding pipe and adding time and feet.
Yeah. We've designed this section already. They have plans, everybody has final plans on this section here, so.
Yeah, we actually reviewed them at the last progress meeting a month ago.
Fairly easy pipe laying, really. There's a hayfield and not really a whole lot in their way, so I definitely feel like they'll get through.
There's a cedar tree that if there's no way it's moving.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna talk to Dan Christie, so.
Yeah.
I told Paul I'd talk to him, so.
I talked to him the other day, but I didn't mention that the tree was kind of like apples on one side. So,
Our plan is there'll be a hydrant and a valve there at the long driveway. There's kind of a good spot. There's 2 power poles with guy wires right there on that south side of that driveway. And we'll have the valve, kind of last valve hydrant there. And we'll connect into that 2-inch main right there too. And then we'll just take some dry pipe and lay it another couple hundred feet across that first Goble property. So.
so we'll,
Something I meant to ask there, are we gonna go ahead and connect whatever services are on?
Yeah, this price also includes transferring
Good.
services for that
Cause
1,500
I've got
feet.
most of that, those items in, so.
It's kind of like if you took a portion of the phase 2 and you just moved it to phase 1.
yeah.
Good.
Any questions on this? So what this is change order number 1 to the original. So this is phase 1 addition, okay? So we could change order up to 20% without getting ourselves in a bind. So this is a change order up to 15% that basically just, the pipe was gonna come across the road, come out of the little red hydrant in the White House and stop. So now it's gonna run from there, down the road, 1,400 and something like 60 feet. So, what we would need is approval,
You said they haven't seen this yet?
yes, they've seen the changes.
They know the quantities,
Yeah.
so they bid the quantity.
Yeah, the quantity.
Yeah.
By the pipe price, so if they wanted to change the quantity price, then we couldn't issue this change order. Because
We've already reviewed the plans with them at the previous, and they were happy with everything they had in their quotes, so they made no indication to say, hey, I've gotta change this, so. Any other questions on it? We would need approval for me to sign change order number 1, and then we will take it to the progress meeting for the 12th, Thursday, and have them sign it, and we'll go from there.
So we need a motion to authorize you to sign or to push it to
I guess approve the change order. Just approve the change order, and I'll sign it.
I will move to approve change order number 1 in the amount of $114,470 for the phase 1 addition.
Any further questions on that change order? We'll get it. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Phase 2. From the end of the change order, we just approved to town, and then with phase 2 addition. So,
Yeah, so phase 2 had about 4,900 feet. We just took off about 1,500 of that, so you'll roughly end up with 3,400 feet or so total left on that,
on the original phase 2.
on the original phase 2. We did a lot of research between us and Kevin Patmore, your attorney. We found existing easements from Salem Hill Water. There was blanket easements across all the way up about to where David Gogol's home farm is. It's kind of hard to show you without a map, but about half of the distance, about half of that 4,900 feet had a blanket easement that pretty well allows you with some restraint to replace the water main with a bigger water main. So good thing is you're not gonna have to purchase, we called out, there was about 22 parcels, and I think that we're gonna get it down to about 7 property owners that we have to deal with for new easements. That comes out to roughly $7,500 worth of easement costs at your $350 per foot that you approved at the previous phase 1 there. Those property owners, there are no existing easements for. It's not that we just couldn't use the blanket easements. There was one particular property, it's an old Treader farm that had a blanket easement across a couple of 80s, is where you guys got that about half a mile of blanket easement on it. Once you get past that Treader easement, most of the main's close enough to the road. It was probably originally laid in county road right away. And then there's a point too where we skip across the road as well to get onto the east side, and there's no water over there. So there's a sewer main over there, but there's no water. So we do feel like you're gonna need, like I said, about 7 property owners. We've prepared the easement descriptions. Kevin has those, so he's preparing the easement documents for signature. I guess once we get those, it'll be a question of who's negotiating with each of these property owners. We can do it, or us and Chris, but I guess
Kind of the same way we did last time, and Paul and Chris can kind of work through it.
I guess the decision by this group to be made is, are you okay with continuing that compensation of $350 a foot like you did on phase 1, as we kind of go into the negotiation for these other guys?
But seems to be ready to change it.
So,
This group is tired of
Yeah, that's,
If I need an update, I can just check with one of them. I mean, unless somebody's opposed to it, I'd say we just continue what we've been doing. And I thought Paul and Chris worked through the last one pretty well. You know,
I talked about it today, so.
Yeah. So,
I don't see
we
that.
should have, we'll have the documents ready to start to get signed here in the next couple of weeks. It'll probably take us, I don't know, last time it took us, what, 2 months, probably?
Yeah, so,
Couple months here.
just catching people and get through questions and things sometimes takes a little bit.
Yeah. Overall, it's about the same amount or number of easements as that first one, it's just a lot less footage. But, so design's going pretty well, surveys all the way done on that, we've got most of the route laid out. We're probably getting to the point where we're gonna start staking it and going out there and looking at it and seeing if we wanna adjust foot here, a few feet there. There's some trees in the way, we're gonna definitely end up taking out some trees in some of these guys' yards. So that'll probably be one of the bigger conversation points with a lot of these landowners is kind of some of the trees we'll take out. But yeah, I'd say right with, along there with easements, we'll probably be done with the design here in the next couple months too.
I think when the phase two, we'll let it up a bit, and I need some help finding out where I can places, so.
Yeah, Troy talked to me about it, we were gonna put like a pothole every 150 feet or
So
something.
I'm gonna do the best we can, because once we get top of that hill, I have no clue, so I've never worked before, so.
All right, do we wanna talk then? You didn't have to bring any maps of Rye Hill, did you?
I have one that's an older one that I think, I highlighted a little bit.
So now let me bring you up to date, so that is phase two. Phase two goes to the first fire hydrant and you're headed into Rye Hill, coming from the south, going north. 1900, 1910, whatever that road is, first road. That's where the 6-inch is. Well, let's just, you might want to gather around, this gets, see which map we're looking at, because they're all different, imagine that.
The old one.
Yeah,
So this is where you guys are gonna tie in your new main spot, yeah.
yeah. all
Right here is where we're gonna come down 700 and tie in here.
We're gonna be on this side of the road, we're gonna cross the road right here.
So the blue mains I highlighted are kind of like your big mains, what we would consider like capable of carrying a fire flow, 6-inch or bigger. You kind of have the block there, the church, cemetery. This is like the church parking lot here,
Yeah, right.
and the church sits
There's a
like
fire
here.
hydrant on the corner of the parking lot right there.
And like this would be the tavern there, Chateau.
Yeah.
So right now, you got one big main that crosses the highway there along 700, right there by the Patriot Station.
And we have, Chris has dug this up. Part of this question, there's one map that doesn't show this line being. That's interesting. Okay?
It's just 1990.
So, yeah, so one of the things Chris has to do, and the snow got in his way, is he's gonna take his little back thing, he's gonna poke some holes down there, and we'll take a look at that line.
Well, this is where I want to show Ed, so Ed's over here, when I went over there, and started flagging stuff, that creek, there's not a good place for me to find this anywhere without taking out some roads, so this shows this being 6-inch here, and that little 1.25 inches, and then 6-inch here. So I thought I would blow it over here and here, that way we know this is true.
Yeah.
And the 6-inch goes all the way, comes back over here, so.
If you recall, there's been some discussion, one of the maps showed this stopping here, and then it was like, well, if the 6-inch stopped, and there's a little, what is it, 1.5 inches or something that goes up through here, running the 12, but we're going with the assumption the 6 inches here, okay, so we tap into it. This is the only connection for all of this going to the west side of the road. So, I'm asking, it's in your packet, we'll get to it in a minute, to give us an engineering cost to do an alternate, to go, there is a gas line right up here. If you were to come from down here where they cook the soup and go up past the parking lot of the church, in front of the church, you get up there just before you go back to the highway, there's a gas thing there. We do not want to get close to that, okay? We've had enough over under the highway, we don't want to be close to the transmission gas line. So we're asking to come up with an engineering estimate to engineer basically from this hydrant over here, under the highway, which you all know how much fun that is, to connect all of this in two places, okay? The idea being, that's the only connection to the west side. This line goes all the way almost to Dale. This line is what feeds, what's the name of the little housing thing?
Meadows.
Meadows, housing, that's the line that feeds it. So, by doing this, we get some redundancy, and my other, point was, I don't have to come back to Rye Hill and that line, okay? When we get done in Rye Hill, we're done in Rye Hill. Okay, now we do have some questions, and if we don't get the answers we think we're gonna get, then we might have to come back and have this conversation again. But what I would like to do is, so this is phase two. We have paid for the engineering for that, and we know what that is to go ahead and, there's an amendment here, $20,000, to have them engineer this, the bulk of it is the highway, going to the highway. And when we bid it, we would bid that as an alternative, okay? Because this highway bore will be expensive.
Real expensive.
They are expensive. That's
So
okay.
he just about has to make a loop though.
Yeah, we really need to. And we at least have the, you know, if we end up and for something happens and we don't have the funds and we just can't come up with them, we at least have that part engineered and we can throw it in on another project at some point and get it done.
It gives us a lot more future
Yes.
going that direction.
Yeah. As far as what size this pipe is, I'm gonna let him and Russ and they can.
I'll take care of this part. So.
Yeah. And, but anyway, so, you have at your place a thing to approve a $20,000 dollar increase in phase two engineering, to engineer this, which would also be the construction oversight, you know, it's all that stuff. And then when we bid phase two, we have to get the heater, so we would bid this and then we would bid this as an option. If this was just a few hundred feet of pipe, that's not, I don't know, would $100,000 go under the highway?
Close, yeah, that's the number I'd use.
Yeah.
We just did a bore like this for Finch Newton Water over across the railroad, and it was about 100,000. So we ended up being.
So,
Because it's about 500 feet of pipe, I think, and then that bore gets a little nasty because that, if you know where it sits, that
It's a
hill,
hill.
coming off the church's parking lot there, it's real steep, so it'll be a pretty deep pit on the south side of the road. But there's not really a good way to get into that main anywhere else. I mean, that's where it ends, you know, there by the church. That, it'll also kind of help the church out with fire protection a little bit too.
Oh,
which, you know, it's-
yeah,
They're getting a brand new package.
yeah, I was gonna say, it's going away, and get a new one there, and, you know, well, this wasn't that long ago, with here.
Brand new right there.
Yeah, you know, we drive by there one day, and there's Chris and Russ with the backhoe and half the highway dug up and water coming out of the hole, you know?
That was a nice.
So,
We gotta get an easement from the diocese,
Yeah.
but hopefully the better fire protection will help convince them on that, so.
What we're gonna do this.
and there is a,
Stand pipe up there, we're gonna do that.
We haven't got that deep into it.
it can stand there until somebody tells me we gotta spend 50 or 100,000, then we're gonna have a conversation. about that same one.
We're hoping this cures it, so I don't know if it will, do we?
The one thing here too, I don't know if you've noticed, you've driven by, there is a power line that runs right along this homeowners and Dice's property line right here, so that might help us a little bit, because they already
There
got.
should
power-
be an easement there.
Yeah, they already got power line easement, there, so we're simply gonna go underneath that.
And if you drive down the highway, the gas lines are all pink flags, so they know we're doing things over here. They won't flag them, so.
Yeah, they're not fun to deal with.
No,
That pipeline goes from Texas all the way up to, like
Yes.
Michigan.
If I even
So I
get
have-
close to it,
I have a community in Columbus that we had to cross these same 3 gas mains for.
Yeah.
No fun.
No, we don't wanna, we
If
don't
we-
wanna,
They're big.
if we even get close to it, the guy will be on site with it already.
They're like I think there's 2 36 inches and a 24 inch, maybe. They're huge.
Sure big. I've seen
that's
it.
pressurized gas,
I've
right?
seen it
Yeah,
up close.
real high pressure.
We filled them up that one year. Remember they did a pressure test up there.
Yeah.
Sit up there for 2 days, filling trucks, water.
Well, there's a-
It's right by you, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big pumping station at Celestine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A&R pipeline is what it's called.
All right, so that's, phase 2 of the. And if you want, before we vote on that, we can back up here, and you have a sheet at your place that looks something like this. It's the copy of the capital budget. I thought I would just simply update you on that. Might be in this. There it is, right there. Okay, just for as a refresher, this, is an updated version of what was presented both to us and to the town for where the capital money was going. So the $517,000 sitting in our capital fund, that didn't change. The $600,000 in county funds was there, we've about spent it, but it's there. The $100,000 in, county funds that we get as that annual payment, will be here in June or July. Maybe August. I think last year was August. And then I just mentioned earlier that per our 2026 operating budget, we were going to move $250,000 from our operating account, which as of December was about 950-some thousand. Once transfers are done. To the capital account, so you can see that's, that $1,467,000 is the same as we had. Engineering costs for phase 1 was $189,000, we haven't changed that. Well, if you look at the contract, it's all one contract, but anyway. Then the contract for phase 1, before the $114,000 extension, which is the next line down there. So, 114 for extending phase 1. And that still left us with $414,000, and then the engineering contract, the original contract was $143 for phase 2. And now we're gonna vote here in a minute to add $20,000 to it to do that engineering for that little loop out to the highway. And I have still operating on easements of $21,000. I think Ed just said my 52 wasn't right, it's $7,500. And Paul's time we get billed separately, that time was on the bottom of those 2 invoices. But it's nowhere near 21,000, so I just left it 21,000. So at this point, for phase 2, before any funds that are available after 2026's budget, we're sitting on 330,000. So, we got a good start. We're not there, but we got a good start for phase 2. But with that 330,000, that only has to cover construction costs. We have, because the engineering, numbers that are up there, those include construction engineering, okay? So that's already. So I just wanted to kind of bring you up to where we're at and what we got. So, you have an amendment to owner engineer agreement, amendment number 2. And the amendment amount is for $20,000. It brings the total thing up to $252,000, and that's to take care of that little section over there. Okay, it's got it on here. It's 540 feet of 6-inch water line. Don't set the 6-inch in stone. Chris and Russ and I are already talking, so we'll have more discussions about that. That will not affect the engineering, it's just a matter of what the line item says. Okay? And you'll see those drawings and stuff when they're complete. So what I'd ask now is that we have a motion to approve this amendment for $20,000.
I move to approve this, amendment number 2, with the rest of the engineers, about $20,000 for the engineering for the alternate route for Rio.
Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. If you look at it, you can, we don't got much left to do. You're welcome to leave. Cross connections, nothing going on that. Chris, you anything new on lead that we want to hear about or care about?
Still checking it, so.
So sending letters and doing all that fun stuff.
Actually, I need to have Zoom meeting with them too, so.
Okay. Continue the battle. The, price, our rate increase for 2026 that we discussed in the last meeting, just an update, the council did approve the first reading of an ordinance for a 6% increase.
Thanks, guys.
As you
See ya.
effective with June 1 usage, which would be their July bill. There is a public hearing at the start of the town council meeting, which I will be there. Note, if any of you want to come to the public hearing, that's fine. If more than one of you is coming, we'll need to know, because if 3 of us show up, we just had a meeting, okay? And we've got to give notice and all that fun stuff. So, if one of you wants to come, fine, but if 2 of you are coming, we just need to know. But the hearing will be at 5:30. I will basically give the same speech that I gave to the town council. A reiteration of that spreadsheet that I gave you in the last meeting, you know, kind of just showing why, where it came from. And, assuming that all goes well, then they will have the second reading of the ordinance and the final vote, and it will be done. So, any questions on that? All right. I guess it's time to spend money.
Okay, not very much this time.
Dang, Chris has been too busy duck hunting.
He's been duck hunting,
Yeah.
and it shows.
February.
I have water vouchers in the amount of $78,293.12.
That's it.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Start passing. So here's the way this works. He's gonna pass it down. You're gonna sign with the blue pen.
Okay.
When it gets all the way down here, Tony only has one job that he has to make sure he sign every meeting, and that's sign in the last place. And
Sign
then,
right here. Next time, underneath it. So you'll send 2 copies each time. And then on here, I need to tell her to change this one.
Well, yeah, like this.
You don't have to update
That's
it.
easy.
So it's
That's
right.
Doesn't have light, so
And then you just pass it down, and then I'll
Oh,
collect it,
go decide.
everyone
It
signs.
is one that we had worked on previous 8 years ago or something. We could've- You never know. I mean, it was no fun.
Did you shut off that water?
It was on our side.
Oh.
Yeah. $11-hour day.
And we can't be the last person, so.
Move to adjourn.
Say second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.